Okay, last year we saw a rise in cybercrime. So what can we expect moving forward this year? Proofpoint has released its security predictions for 2021 with criminal groups set to get smarter. Ryan Kalember is the VP of CyberSecurity Strategy at Proofpoint and he's on the screen. Good morning to you. How are you today? Good to see you.
Very well, thanks. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. So we talk a lot about this. So firstly, how will cyber criminal groups, do you think, collaborate with each other and get smarter, as you've mentioned there?
Well, it really all comes down to the human element. For quite a long time, cybercriminal groups have not really been distinguished by their technical expertise, but how clever they can get when it comes to figuring out new ways to extort us and new ways to monetize that. And it really has been a wild week in cybersecurity. We've seen busts all over the world, from Bulgaria to Canada to Ukraine, taking out some of the largest cybercrime groups. But at the same time, these attacks are ongoing and will continue to be ongoing, since all of us, to some extent, are susceptible to the social engineering they leverage.
So what are some of the techniques that you think will emerge to bypass traditional security protocols that we've seen in the past?
Well, it's actually fairly interesting to see even the very sophisticated campaign that affected SolarWinds recently really was all about access to cloud productivity suites, right? The same things that we all rely on to some extent, whether that be Google or Microsoft, and the email accounts, the files, all of the things that are linked to those credentials. Somewhat unfortunately, the internet is built on a patchwork in lots of different ways, and identity is certainly one of them, both in terms of what corporations use as well as what we use as individuals. And the attackers here were really adept at effectively getting around those protocols to compromise accounts. And that really is grist for the mill for all different forms of cybercrime activity, from things like business email compromise through to ransomware, through to other things that they can monetize.
Let's talk about 2021 now. What type of scams do you think we could expect to see mainly this year?
Well, cryptocurrency scams will certainly be ongoing. I am personally waiting with bated breath to see how cybercriminals exploit what's going on with GameStop and other insane stock market activity at the moment. Anything like that is something that they can seize upon in order to exploit basically our propensity to click on things. And whether that is a way to fish Robinhood credentials and do their own version of stock market manipulation, which we've actually seen them do in the past, or whether it's something that we can barely think of right now, like actually a brand new extortion technique where they're going in and manually reading chief executive officers' emails in order to look for things that are uniquely embarrassing in things like lawsuits, and then threatening to release that information publicly if a ransom is not paid. You can certainly count on continued innovation in 2021.
And just to wrap up, what role do you think automation might play in security tools?
I think it's actually really fascinating question, because this is not the sort of problem that we can solve solely by throwing more bodies at it. Automation is going to be really critical in defending large organizations, but ultimately, I think automation is less important than the human factor. The real core of cybercrime these days is the fact that we are all vulnerable to manipulation of various different types. And the smarter that we all get, the better off we'll be.
Awesome, Ryan. Where can we head to find out a little bit more if we want to know more? I mean, we do need to learn it. This information goes over people's heads a lot of the time. So where can we find out some more info?
Really good question. Proofpoint.com has quite a lot of free resources on how to make yourself and your organization more cyber smart. And there are lots of organizations around the world. I would point to the ASD with their essential set of controls as a phenomenal resource as well.
Awesome, mate. We'll talk soon. Enjoy your day.
Cheers.